Now, I'm going to get to some video clips of world leaders calling for a new world order just in the last year or so. And then I'm going to get to Israeli newspapers and U.S. newspapers admitting that Israel set up Hamas. In fact, the Wall Street Journal headline is exactly what he said, that Israel was involved in setting it up. Actually, they set the whole thing up. The source of that is every Israeli newspaper. But again, they think Americans are dumb. And the question is, are you? Let's go ahead and show, though, my crew pointed out that Huntsman has another attack piece like this and turned the comments off. But as of this being out less than 24 hours, there was 860 thumbing down the video, disagreeing with it, and 165. So that's basically 8-1 in favor of Ron Paul. And then dude just popped in my ear and said that means YouTube's going to put it at the top. Yeah, right. Exactly. Whenever it's pro-establishment, YouTube does put it to the top with their rigged game. Now, let's go ahead and go to these clips of world leaders, Henry Kissinger and others, admitting that it's a new world order, which means global government. Here are some of those clips that world leaders called for a new world order. George Herbert Walker Bush, in something like 57 speeches. I know because we collated it all in Invisible Empire, our film. Jason Burmis directed, I produced. I told Burmis, I said, this film's 3 hours long. Half of it's people saying world government, new world order. And he said, well, they deny it exists. And I'm like, okay, put it in there. But here they are admitting world government over and over again means new world order. New world order means world government, corporate run. We're now under it. And he's the bad guy. Like this guy talks about reality. He's bad. I mean, it is so mind-boggling. Here it is.
We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us would like to see.
Partnership and cooperation among nations is not a choice. It is the only way.
I think its task will be to develop an overall strategy for America in this period when really a new world order can be created. It's a great opportunity. It isn't just a crisis.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind. Now we can see a new world coming into view, a world in which there is the very real prospect of a new world order.
But it is the awareness itself that will drive the change. And one of the ways it will drive the change is through global governance and global agreements. But the many business leaders who have been present here are among those taking leadership in other ways.
Yet these problems can be overcome by a joint effort in and between our countries. 2009 is also the first year of global governance, with the establishment of the G20 in the middle of the financial crisis. The climate conference in Copenhagen is another step towards the global management of our planet.
This is collective action, people working together at their best. I think a new world order is emerging, and with it the foundations of a new and progressive era of international cooperation.
And then it's going to be another big show tonight because I've got to respond to all this bull. And the problem is we have hundreds of these clips where they admit the state is God. What is the New World Order? The state is God. That's what it means. And the globalists using these crises to set up their global governance, their New World Order. And so Ron Paul gets up and says, yeah, George Bush the first called for a New World Order. And they're like, oh, my God, he's crazy. Let's run $2 million worth of ads in 2 days in Iowa. He says there's a New World Order. He's dangerous. He repeated what the president said in State of the Unions. Listen, he's crazy. He's like your crazy old uncle. This is the bad man. He's not for the New World Order. He's not a good person. Now, let's continue. You saw that little short clip where they said he thinks Hamas was set up by Israel. Well, that's funny. I happen to have Haaretz right here in front of me, and it says that Israel right here set up Hezbollah. Israel created Hezbollah. There it is right there. Israel created Hezbollah. Let's continue. I have another quote right here. This is out of the Wall Street Journal. People may have heard of that. How Israel helped spawn Hamas. Oh! But can we cue that video when we're done up of the kook, Ron Paul, the evil one who imagines that George Herbert Walker Bush calls for a new world order, that imagines that Israel helped set up Hamas as a counter to Iran and Hezbollah? Oh, but wait, I don't stop there. You know, we've got more of these articles, but I mean, cue that up. Let's just see part of that ad again, where he talks about Hezbollah. Oh yeah, let's fast forward past that. We're queuing that up right now. Just play the whole ad. The time it takes to queue it up, we'll get it. Here it is.
You'll find out that Hamas was encouraged and really started by Israel.
Have you ever read about
hold on. You want to show it again? Because again, I mean, you know, I just got the Wall Street Journal and the Haaretz here, but they're bad too. They're crazy old uncles. I guess George Herbert Walker Bush is a crazy old uncle. I mean, because he's just a crazy old uncle mentioning what somebody said. In fact, I'm so angry right now. How dare you, Ron Paul? Make me sick. I mean, Ron Paul walked out one day and saw a blue sky, and he said, blue sky. And everybody went, my God, blue sky, he's crazy. Well, I'm a trendy. If the government says the sky is black, I believe him at high noon. They say it's orange at high noon.
You buy the slaves and release them. How much would that cost compared to killing 600,000 Americans? If you look at the history, you'll find out that Hamas was encouraged and really started by Israel.
Have you ever read about the reasons they attacked us? They attack us because...
Okay, I think I've shown that 3 times, but the system counts on you being petty, being thin-skinned, being very, very shallow, and it is wild that Israel created Hamas. Because we're told, give all our liberties up because they're going to kill us every minute. You know, the evil Hamas. And then if you mention, hey, Israel and other governments our government created Al-Qaeda, they're like, oh, shut up. And then national security advisors, former government chiefs write books bragging that they created Al-Qaeda. And you can buy the book and go, look, Brzezinski wrote this. It's on this page. Here, David Rockefeller wrote this book and admits he wants global governance and the end of the family. And it's like, shut up, you're a kook. Folks, only waking up and facing reality is going to save our society. It's that simple. Okay, let's continue on the Ron Paul news. There's a LouRockwell.com article out. Beware of GOP false flag chicanery at Iowa caucuses because another anonymous group the government can basically run, just a cutout group, says they're going to attack. And we told you this weeks ago. When they first announced it, I said, watch, the government will come in and oversee the caucus vote and will count it at a secret location. And sure enough, it has been announced. It will be, the votes for Ron Paul will be counted at a secret location now. And if you don't trust known confirmed liars, you must be with Al-Qaeda, who works for the CIA. But let's continue now with some of the other news on the Ron Paul front. Latest Iowa poll has Ron Paul in first place. But the Republicans are going to count it secretly because there was an outside threat, like Hamas, maybe. Latest Iowa poll has Ron Paul in first place. But doesn't matter. Politico, when he's in first place, came out and said he was in third place. And they waited till the media, the controlled whore media, all ran with Ron Paul plunging before they corrected it and said, sorry, he's in second or first, depending on how you look at it. And they just said, forget that whole situation. That's at Infowars.com. Politico botches poll results to downgrade Ron Paul. Kind of like people botch bank robberies when they get away with the money. It's all accidental, of course. But here's another one. U.S. civilians are now helping decide who to kill with drones. This is all part of people 10,000 miles away, zit-face, hot pocket eating tech heads now get to kill whole wedding parties to kill one, quote, terrorist who never got a trial. And so they're getting humans completely out of the military. It's all just going to be drones killing people at a distance, including American citizens. The absolute, total, and complete cowardice of it all. Now we're going to go to Ron Paul's final ad before the Iowa caucus. Believe Ron Paul releases closing argument ad. We're going to get to that in a moment. But first, I want to get to a report that's been several weeks in the making. And that, of course, is the terrorism death stats. Because I know it's fun, like a campfire story, to sit around and have granddad when you're 7 tell you about the boogeyman while you're roasting hot dogs. But the boogeyman isn't really real. Governments killing people, though, are. That's the real monsters. I understand it's fun to get into fearing the Muslims and getting all scared and everything, while the government leaves the borders wide open and ships Muslims in faster than you can, say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. But I thought we would just compile some basic numbers here so that those of you that get all upset and tribally worried and are willing to give up all your rights and have your children secretly arrested and gang raped at Abu Ghraib to keep you safe from Al-Qaeda that our government created and Israel created Hamas. I understand it's still scary, though. It's fun to get scared. I thought we'd actually go over some terrorism statistics from the United States and some other countries. There is a report here broken down by different scientific journals that we'll put on screen that terrorism in the United States from 1970 to 2007, that's Scientific American, were 3,292 deaths. That's a 1 in 3.5 million chance in the actuary over those decades. But your whole way of life, your Bill of Rights, your Constitution, killed because the Al-Qaeda Easter Bunny might get you. So there it is. You got a better chance per year being killed by champagne corks popping, we're going to go over those numbers, or wild dogs, or a bolt of lightning, or dying in the swimming pool, or electrocuting yourself. More people were killed each year by flying champagne corks than bites from poisonous spiders. One of nearly 24 champagne accidents, fatalities a year, more than a third occurred at weddings. Well, the obvious thing is ban weddings or have pot-bellied people there in blue outfits that grab your child's genitals and have sex with your bride on the cake because, or maybe rob everybody's bags like the TSA does because, again, the Al-Qaeda is so scary. Again, government's got to protect you from every threat out there. So let's go through leading causes of death annually versus terrorism. Tobacco, 430,700 annual deaths, or 1 in 726. All accidents in the U.S. in 2007, 119,000, or 1 in 2,500. So all accidents is a 1 in 2,500 chance from 310 million people. Terrorism, 1 in 3.5 million. But again, I'm not patriotic if I don't literally urinate my pants right now and just shake and say, Ron Paul's a kook. He doesn't want foreign banks that own military contractors bankrupting the country to launch wars worldwide to take over countries' resources that we don't even get any of. Let's go back to alcohol. 110,640 annual deaths, or 1 in 2,827. Adverse reactions to prescription drugs, 32,000 annual deaths, and that is a government number. The numbers we've got, it's 300,000. But let's just go with 32,000. Much better chance than terrorist. Suicide, 30,575 annual deaths, most of them troops. That's the highest number now of the group, versus 3,292 deaths over 30 years. 37 years, excuse me. Continuing. Homicide, 18,272 annual deaths. All licit and illicit drug-induced deaths, 16,926 annual deaths. Not one death from marijuana, I should add. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, 7,600 annual deaths. I know of several parents whose children died from